Alex. There's no guest. It's just us on our own in the studio because we've been busy boys.
We've been slaving away.
But we've been busy in a good way. We've been exhibiting.
Yes, we have been exhibiting. Yes, we've
2 weeks, 2 shows, and we're halfway through it right now. We're in the actual midst of it. This is how busy we've been. We're recording 2 days before releasing an episode, which is kind of like compared to our like 3 or 4 week like ahead is mad. But it's been I think it's just the madness of getting
it's been a
prints and everything
like
sorted.
say, it's been hectic setting up and getting everything sorted and then having to pack everything back up and then sort it out for the next one. So
it's been like go, but worth it because this Friday just gone, the 16th of August 2024, we had the first probably the first like officially labelled NNA show. Even though it's like number 3 for that collective. And also the first NN Nights as well in Northampton, which I felt went amazingly well, despite my brief panic beforehand that no one was going to be there, and it was just like
there's always that weird like imposter syndrome where you think no one's going to turn up. But to be fair, it got good. Like I think everyone was talking about it, everyone seen the poster and stuff, so we
did go absolutely ham on promo, which is great. And we had the benefit of there being, I think, 12 artists in the room with us. I'm not going to list them because I always miss someone, but that half of the NNA collective as a sort of, it felt like a little bit like a little prequel show to next week.
Because it was very like, for us it was very like last minute, would you say? I don't know, like it wasn't last minute,
but it was kind of like, it was weird because obviously last year we did Delve, which was an NNA event, even though we hadn't called it that yet, and then we were going to do basically exactly the same this year but with a different title, theme, and some new artist. Then we didn't have access to the space, so we were left homeless. And then at the very like pretty much kind of last minute ended up with 2 spaces. So that's why there's been 2 back-to-back shows. But I think it wasn't so much it being last minute because we already had work or stuff ready to go. It was kind of figuring out the identity for that show. Because we were like, we can't just do Enigma twice
in one
3 weekends back to back, because it's just they're down the road from each other, the 2 galleries. It would have ended up sort of, people would have picked and choose which one they want to come to.
Absolutely. No, hopefully we do still see the same results as what we saw.
I think we will, because it's different work. There's 24 artists, I think, for Enigma.
That's right. I did forget that.
So for this one. 20 artists on the 24th. So I think that's the thing. So they are different shows now, but I think the thing that made it slightly more stressful in my head was trying to figure out like how to market 2 shows that are very similar but are different and get that across. But I think it might work, because if no one turns up on the 24th, then it didn't work. But if people still turn up to both, then we did a good job. But
we haven't seen the conclusion till it gets there. So, but but no. But like, what would you say is like your best part of like the exhibition process? Like, is it prepping? Like, is it like during the actual event? Like when it's on? See, me personally, I quite like the whole prep and actually like admiring it on the wall for myself, and then like I couldn't care less about the event. Like, it'd be nice to see people turn up, but like it's just nice to have it up somewhere. Yeah,
I kind of like seeing like the different ways people put it. Just when you see there was 12, 15 of us at this last show, like the whole room, how it all comes together, because we didn't see a lot of people's work for this one. I've seen, I think, everyone's work for Enigma, but that's because I've been doing the little zine. But for most people, everyone else's projects is still kind of a surprise to each other, and I think that element adds a real like fun part, because obviously you know what you're putting up and what you're doing for the most part. It's just what other people are bringing to the table and being like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I do enjoy that part, and it's like Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Everyone's getting excited, putting their presents under the tree.
Yeah, you build the Christmas tree up and then you put the presents under it.
And then the actual day is like I don't know what it was. I always get that weird like overwhelm because I didn't come. I wanted to come before it opened, so like last touches and all that stuff, but I was working.
Yeah.
So I got there, I think, half an hour after it opened,
right,
and it was already like packed. And I walked in, I was like, didn't know where to start.
Yeah, bro, it was insane.
That threw me off.
Like I got there because I was there like an hour or two before, and I helped Dante put up his work. And we were like, oh, we were just talking about it. We were like, oh, do you think it's gonna be busy tonight? He was like, yeah, I think so. It might be. I don't know. And we'll see what happens. And then as soon as like 6 o'clock hit, we were like, shit. People just started like coming through. Like they knew where to go and stuff.
It was kind of mad.
But yeah.
Yeah, because my thought was just before, there's always that bit where you're like really excited, just set up, and then I was editing some videos for this job, and it got to about 4 o'clock, and then in the back of my head I'm like, I've actually got to go to this, and there's a chance no one can. Like we're just hanging out in a room with then like Simon who runs an end looking at us like, so where is everyone, guys? And then you have to be like, oh shit. But actually it works really well. Do you want to?
Well, I also think, I don't think we can doubt how, like the turnout, because the thing is like we're all marketing it as a group anyway and individually. So like, and I think we're all quite connected with different people. And
it's kind of the thing when you have 12 people, you know, everyone brings a few. It adds up quick sort of thing, which is the nice thing about a group show. You don't have to be like, it's not all on you. And then as well, like the Contemporary had their own promotion because it was their big event of NN Nights that they should do again. I'm really hoping they keep it going because that was exciting to see the Contemporary kind of engage with everything else that's in the town. As obviously they've been rebuilding, so it's been moving location, but there was kind of this sort of sense between some people that they were kind of like a separate thing to the town's actual art scene, which I don't think was their intention. I think they've just been busy on the rebuild and stuff, but it's good to see that hopefully like the fact that people came in, there's definitely an interest in the arts in the town, and there is plenty of artists because they had about, I think, 16 venues open or something across town, which was like wicked.
Pretty wild, to be fair.
Having everyone like exhibit and like loads of people we know and various other ones, and I think it's a good way to get everyone kind of together and actually show off the sort of range of art in the town as well. Because I remember on the first day of setup when Gemstone came in and he was talking about how like, oh, with art in Northampton you can always kind of tell it's from Northampton. Yeah. And there is sort of, but I think the more I think about it, I think that makes sense within our group, but not for the entire town. Having seen some of the other stuff that went on that's like quite different from what we do, you know what I mean, as NNA and within PHOTOMAFIA as well. But there's definitely some stylistic choices there, but I think it just showed off that there is more to the town than just like one thing, and connecting them together is, you know, what's been our goal for fucking however long we've been here, you know. No,
absolutely.
But yeah, did you want to talk about your project a little bit?
Of course, so the image I put up for NN Nights is also going to be used for Enigma as well. But
cop out.
No, it's not because it's a cop out, bro. No. No, I just felt because there was a lot of work going on. I felt like, well, I hope my work got remembered by a lot of people. But I felt like that I wanted more people to have the opportunity to kind of showcase what they have, whereas I feel Enigmas are going to be a little bit smaller in terms of how many people are exhibiting, so it means that
Enigma's bigger. There's more people.
Yeah, but in terms of like the venue space that we had and then other spaces that were like next to us and stuff like that, because obviously you still had the other two rooms, didn't you?
Oh,
so
right.
That's kind of what I'm on about. But yeah, no, the work kind of delves into Enigma a little bit more, and I was kind of exploring the theme. And so the image, I'll just describe the image. It's just a silhouette of a woman, my girlfriend. But it's kind of exploring this, like, I call it the bedroom scene. and it's kind of exploring these like how two people feel isolated in one room, and kind of like this like mystery between what's going on and what experiences are put in and stuff like that. So
what goes on in the dark?
What goes on in the dark? Yeah. So,
No,
but I could delve into a little bit more of it, but that's probably like the quick brief.
Yeah,
because it goes a little bit further in.
We've
I
got
feel like you have to like turn up to actually like understand it. So, but yeah,
I thought it was a good piece. It was very powerful, and you picked your spot well.
Yeah, too fucking right. Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do? Yeah, this is how I do it. I make sure I'm the first one there, and I make sure I see the first wall that I like to look at as soon as I get up. And I knew that was the wall that I wanted, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going for it."
Because no one else to put up, and you were already like, I think we'd turned up, and you were already like holding yours in place. And I was talking to Simon like, "Yeah, well, I don't know where other people want to put stuff or whether tires anything." Mine, you were already holding yours in place. And I was like, "Yeah, he's not budging, is he?" But it makes sense. It was like as you walked in, like as you kind of came in, looked around, it was the first one that properly like confronted you, and I think that for that piece made sense because it's like a big A0 print.
And I'm gonna do the same for Enigma as well. I'm gonna be the first one that turns up to that studio, and I'm gonna be like, "Yep, that's my wall. I'm going there."
Fair enough.
Yeah.
God.
It's all turn up on Alex time, mate. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Before
20 minutes ahead.
Yeah, 20 minutes ahead.
And I know it's one of my favorite pieces of yours.
Thank you, bro.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm exploring because I think what I liked about it was the color, like the orange seeping through as well, and obviously reflecting back onto the wall, which was kind of like a mustardy.
It's very
kind
moody.
Like,
it's got a very sort of atmospheric feel to it.
And I like that the fact that the figure wasn't directly in the middle; it was like to one side as well. So I kind of wanted my lighting to be a little bit more of the focus point as well. So
no, it's nice. It's kind of, it struck me because Ty sort of referenced Nan Golding and kind of
which I'm honoured. I'm so glad that
it's a compliment.
Like, that is a mad compliment.
But yeah, I do, especially it's that orange tone, I think, because although she's not known for like silhouettes per se, but that sort of I guess in a weird way you could say incorrect white balance, but it's like an atmospheric use of white balance. Her work was always quite like Ballad of Sexual Dependency. It's like very orange and warm feeling. So it kind of evokes that, which brings in a bit of nostalgia as well, a little bit. Yeah. Just because it's kind of the white balance you get from like film, because it's like you can't adjust it as digital camera always wants to make everything like white. Yeah,
of course.
With like, you know, your auto settings and all that lot that people tend to leave on.
But no, it was I'm quite happy about that image, and I'm quite glad that it turned out the way it turned out, and I'm glad I got the great compliments that I did while the exhibition was going on. So, but yeah, and I'm hoping to use that feedback and continue it on with my work forward. So,
do you think you're going to develop it into like a larger, like a series or a project, or
potentially? Yeah, I think I could do. I've got something else in the works which I'm producing, like an abstract zine. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's something new and I quite like it, but I want to see how it goes. But yeah. But like your work, we did some interesting like sorry. You're just looking over
I didn't know Lucy was like going to reset and then not. Yeah.
Yeah. No, do it. But no, like your work, I feel like it's like the fucking layout to that was like it was fun and a pain in the ass, and me doing the usual climbing up a ladder as always. Or you're like eye level,
because we didn't know exactly which room. We knew what unit, but I couldn't remember if it was, because the current NN Contemporary space has like a couple different rooms, and I didn't know if we were going to be in the one that I'd been in before. Right. Usually they use that one that we were in, because they used it for like the uni degree show last year, and it's a really nice room. It's almost a shame it's only temporary, but the other two rooms are more just like white wall, you know what I mean? But that one has a bit more of like it's got the stairs up into it. So I planned the pieces because obviously I was planning them for we didn't know where it was, so there was no like spatial considerations made. So it was built for a plain wall. But I think upon seeing that little like half wall, I was almost like, at first I was like, shit, I should have done something like landscapey I could have put across there, because that would be, I just liked the idea of doing like something that isn't just on a wall normally. And then obviously there is realizing it is like a half wall and there is white wall behind it as well. And obviously my project was all about splitting into two, because like you, technically I am showing the same project at Enigma, but you have to see both for it to like complete each other, because the prints have been sawn in half. But because of the horizontal halves the walls gave me, that allowed us to put two on the front wall and two on the back wall to create that, still get the same visual of what it would be on the wall, but across a bit more dimension, and continue that idea of like splitting the images that I had, that goes into the book as well and everything. And I think I'm going to try do a similar thing at Enigma. If Jack's space or the Influx Gallery is
we can figure
how I think
out.
it is. I think I can do it a split, but a sideways split. I can do, which is what I want to do.
Okay.
Depending on space for people and stuff like that. But and then it kind of does the same split, but in the opposite axes to NN. And it's kind of those. I was talking to Ty, like, weirdly having the two shows kind of work perfectly with this project, because if I've been doing like, obviously you've seen my next few projects that I've put together, and you've seen obviously the stuff before, that layout wouldn't work for those two.
No, of course.
But for this one, it's just kind of like, I was talking to Ty, and he's like, it's one of those just like kind of magical, it works out sort of thing. But yeah, I do apologize for the slight.
No, it's fine.
Let's get up the ladder and because I came up with it and got excited, but I was like, I was also kind of just seeing how much, because I kind of like, I came up with the idea and I was like, okay, cool, convincing you, but I was kind of waiting for Simon to be like, no, we can't get the ladder up there. It's too it's too much effort. But he's cool. He was open to it. Let me do it, and I think it came out super. Just fun, just a little bit. It fulfilled a little bit of a creative thing, you know what I mean? And I think it's that you always want to be feeling creative, because sometimes when you finish it, once it's at the exhibition stage, it's almost like that's when the project's dead. That's when you've reached the end point. You're like, it is what it is. Let's just put it up. But I wanted it to still be like, there's still ways to work on
make it a bit more interesting. It was kind of like going back to like our exhibitions, like when we did Adders last, like exhibiting that and going through the whole process of like, yes, it was a fucking ball ache, and I was up and down the ladder like constantly, but it was actually really fun, like to actually like see this projection on the floor of like all her work, and then on the wall as well.
Feeling you were in some sort of
like you were
tent in the
it felt like you were almost in like Adda's shrine. Essentially is how I picture it. If Ada had her room the way it was, that would be the way it is. A projection of all her work on the floor, and just like these like veils of like everything. But no, like you say, like we all, and I was quite glad that Simon held the ladder this time, because this poor soul goes up a ladder and no one holds the ladder. So,
but our ladders in the studio are a bit sturdier than that one. And to be fair,
that is true.
But, I think it's that thing. Talking of Ada's one, her one was sort of what we're considering the new. I don't want to say new era. That sounds weird, but it feels like that was our first test bed for like. Finally, after doing about 2 years worth of exhibitions at the studio of our 3 years of being in existence, kind of. Spent a lot of time, because I've already started planning for 2025 and what we're doing, but kind of using that as kind of like, okay, what works and what doesn't, because up until now we've kind of just been there's some level of like experimenting, but I think Ada's was the first time we're like, okay, we know what works, we know what doesn't, we know Ada always brings her A game when it comes to exhibiting,
of course,
so it makes sense to like go in on this one and test it out, and then obviously the next one is in November, which will also be hopefully a game show using those things, because we weren't going to start the new format till 2025. But I think with these last two shows, we're like, it can be done to that level for these ones, and it makes sense to set the bar now to keep it going. I was just wondering your thoughts on what we've sort of learned over the last 2 years of putting up artwork and bringing people into the space, and basically like running kind of a gallery space in our studio.
Well, like I think like when we first started, like very good from the very start, it was we did it on a whim. We're like, sure, why not? Let's do it. And we knew quite a fair bit of because everyone was younger at the time, and we knew a lot of the creative scene from music and stuff like that. And I think like it all stems from that, really, isn't it? It's like putting everyone into one room and then seeing how everything works, and obviously being that community space that it kind of still is. And it, obviously people gotten old and doing their own thing, which is great. I think it always, if they ever like lose path, they always have something to come back to, which are these exhibitions, and they can find their creativity. Like you say, there's people that like are new and turn up to this. Was it them two lads that turned up? I forgot what their names were. No, like they'll want to come to more of it.
Oh, well, that came to Adders.
Yeah. And I felt like, oh, sick. Like this is like also like a kind of, what would you call it? Like a revelation of like, oh, it can like come back, and there can always be new people that want to like see what the studio has to offer and stuff.
It's defining because I remember it kind of was like, we were doing the shows just to sort of like, you know, originally our friend Anna ended up without a space for a degree show.
Oh, yeah.
And she had to do some sort of exhibition, not for her degree show, but for her final year project. Like, you had to do some sort of exhibition element, and she lost her space. And then we just were like, come around, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like, oh. And then did a few more just as like actual, can we do it? And then we were like, okay, this year we're going to do 12. And then, you know, this last year has been like, how can we just always building on the formula, and like, who are we going to get in and things like that? What do we want to show? So I think this year we've kind of like peeled it back a little bit, but in terms of like, okay, it's not, let's go quality over quantity, really considered shows with like these, like with Adders, there was the installation elements. So it was more than just come and see random prints on the wall. Like, how do we keep pushing the quality that, and push it up to the level, which, and it's, from my perspective, it's been all about the actual show itself, but it didn't really occur to me till like Ty said, like through the exhibitions you have become that sort of like pillar of the creative community where people come just to have a space to hang out with other creative people.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the exhibitions. And then like you say, like Mishak and Taku came down from at the last show who had never met before, and it was like someone from a completely different scene being like, we're gonna come down, that's sick. And we hung out with them, and I was like, oh, we've built something that someone can come and just fit right in almost. Like they came to the pub after with us, and we're like, it was like, I don't know, old friends, it felt like. So I think it's now with that vision of being like, okay, we want to show mainly photography, because we've shown quite a range of mediums, but obviously we're PHOTOMAFIA, we like photography. And for me, we've had some that are like painting based shows, and obviously people come up to us to ask about the artwork, and we're painting, I'm not as well versed, so it's kind of like, but photography I can talk about for fucking hours. So and then as well tying that in with this, the podcast, and just everything else, I think next year's gonna I'm actually excited.
It's actually going to be sick, to be fair. I think, like you say, we're refining it, and we're realizing what we want to do and where we want to push it, and I think let's make it exciting for next year. I think that's how we can.
Which, so through we're 2 shows sort of planned.
Exactly. Yes.
Big one for October.
Yeah, which I'm psyched for.
And then
I
don't know how much to give away.
I kind of want to like give away a little bit, but not too much.
Brown Owl Press.
Brown Owl. Should we just do like guess this anagram?
Who's that Pokemon? Yeah. But yeah, I think as well, just wanting to now like push it and connecting as well with, hopefully Contemporary keeps sending nights going, and we can kind of plug into that a little bit and just keep bringing creatives together around different artists that we think cool, and people who are part of the community that we want to say, look at these guys, look at these guys.
Yeah.
And I think it gives a great way for people to come in and find out what it's all about.
Yeah, because I think, who did I speak to last time? I spoke to someone and they said that, I spoke to Cal. And he says you guys are really good at connecting the dots. So I feel like that's what the studio has been quite known for. And what it does really well. So
weirdly, like, I don't know whether you remember, but Richard said that to us while we were at uni, who was our head lecturer. Yeah, and like, I think it was when we were doing the society, and he was like, the main thing that impresses me with you guys at the moment, because obviously at the time we were, beginner photographers basically. Yeah. But he was like, it's your ability to bring people together and organise these sort of events that actually get people, because it actually is quite difficult to do, but I think we kind of, I don't know why it works for us, but we seem to have a knack for bringing people together and just pulling them in and making them all feel part of it, which is what we want really, to make our community around, the PHOTOMAFIA itself. And yeah, I think it's just finding out more ways to bring people in, because obviously we had the exhibitions, now the podcast brings different voices to light for those who can't be here in person.
Right, yeah.
And then as well, do you know what we should talk about in this sort of studio update episode? Our other plans for 2025, even though we're in August.
Yeah.
But the main one being the bookshop.
Yes, I was actually about to bring this up to you, and I wasn't sure if we should talk about it or not, but we should definitely talk about it now you brought it up. So, yes, we're going to do a bookshop in the studio. It's going to be over there in a nice little corner. I'm going to build a nice little shelf.
I'm very excited about the shelf.
Yes. Where you can hang all your zines and anything other than zines, if you got anything else that you wanted to. I think
it's like book. It's the whole thing with zines where some of them, because we've been looking at like what we're buying in and stuff, because we're not just looking at, because people know that we have our own stuff that we've been publishing, our own zines for fucking forever, but also we're looking at bringing stuff from
other people
around the world, bringing them in and just getting cool stuff, and also other people in the community who we know who sell stuff, who are friends of the studio, who just having a place to be like, here is the best place to buy art books in Northampton, hopefully the Midlands.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But I think it's that thing of like what actually constitutes like a book or a zine, because we've seen some like real funky stuff that still like feels like a book,
but it shouldn't be a book.
Isn't technically a book, but I think it's keeping it open. Like, we're not going to be opening a shop where you can just suddenly sell like clothes that fill photos printed on. I think it's mainly the photo books what we have the passion about, and we think it's also a fun way because it backs up the exhibitions. And you can come, and even if the exhibition should be to your taste, because we're doing a lot of work to get some cool shit in, but it kind of there's like a new element of like, oh, come look at what we've got in at the moment. We've got a couple more zines, and I think that's going to be really exciting to unveil for the new year, because that's what we're aiming for, like January launch.
Absolutely.
And just getting more involved on that front, because we've been doing our own books and zines for
did Ethan message you about his book collection?
Yeah, sent me the picture.
Yeah, he sent me the picture. He said he's got all the books of like all the ones that we've produced. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. He was like, oh, I'm going to add to that collection, by the way, because I've got another one coming out soon. So that was the one I mentioned earlier. So, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, shout out Ethan.
But yeah.
I think that's the thing that it's like everyone, photo books seem to be, I mean, we've been on about them for ages, but also now we're meeting more and more people who are coming here to talk about photo books. And like,
I feel like with the ones that we're creating as well, like especially your ones, like you've moved from like doing the paperback to like a normal hardback, like a hardback edition. So like it's kind of upscaling our like photo books as well. So,
but I think as well, because I always felt a little bit like cheeky at other people's exhibitions, that even though it's still our space and we're putting them on, but we'd set up a table for our own books, and I'd always feel a bit, I don't really want to steal away from this person's day. But now it's the photo book shop. It's like we'll have everything, and I can sit and basically just nerd out about these different books that we've got in from various places.
But then you say that it's kind of inspired a lot of like other artists to do it as well. like create zines and create photo books. Like even like you're saying, like us coming into these exhibitions, having our little photo book stand and stuff like that. Like other people come in and had their like little prints and other books they've created and stuff like that. So
I think it's just about wanting to, what we find cool about photography and using our space to just push that and proliferate that culture of bookmaking and printing and exhibitions, and just letting the studio be what we wish all of the sort of photography world was like, rather than, you know, just, I don't know, doing nothing with our lives, I suppose. But, you know, I am very excited about the bookshop for January.
No,
and also very excited about Enigma next week.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's been having to put everything on hold just for Enigma, I feel like.
Well, it's got, we're Monday now. We've got to edit this episode, and then it's basically into like 3 days of setting up,
pretty much,
and seeing everyone's work and organising the space, which is going to be fucking the fun experience again.
Absolutely,
just keep throwing ideas out, and then hopefully 11 till 1 on the 24th, and we'll be away.
11 till 1, nice. Yeah, that'd be good. Cool, can't wait.
But yeah,
buzzing.
And then you've got some little prints for sale.
Yes, I have got little prints for sale. So, because I had some inquiries about my work, and I'm not going to name names, but then some people wanted to buy my actual print. So I was like, I could actually, based on the feedback, I could create little prints that people can buy and take home with them. Yeah. So, which would be nice. So,
I have copies of Glimpse, which is the project for sale. The last. It sounds weird. It's basically the last couple, but if there are any left, they will be available on the website afterwards. Same with your prints as well, for anyone who misses out.
And also, there's other photo books that we've got that haven't been sold out yet, so we could.
And yet to be announced, but I'm considering doing a second bunch of prints for Glimpse. Yeah. But maybe. I'll see. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, hopefully. And then hopefully on to the next thing, because I've got exhibition fever. I think I just want to keep going and keep. You don't want to stop a little bit, which is kind of like the feeling after NNA. It was like, man, that was really fun. And normally after an exhibition, you have a little bit of like, that's it for however long. Because I don't know, I've got one in the far future, but nothing else. Yeah. But this time it was like, okay, we get to do it all again next week. Cool. Yeah. But you know, you can have too. It's like going back to the Christmas analogy. It's like if it was every day, we wouldn't appreciate it. So it's probably good to get this one done and then take a little bit of a break to make some new work. But
absolutely.
But both of us have a couple projects in the works anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully, just keep the ball rolling on top of our, you know, the stuff that pays the bills to keep the space open. But that's our plans with everything that's entertaining you lot. Who,
exactly.
You know, and trying to head towards our like actual goals of what we're trying to do, like goals that actually can make a change or shift something. I think. But so if you've listened to the end, come along to Enigma on the 24th. It's at Influx Gallery. It's 1 p.m. till 11 p.m. Come say hi to me and Alex, or just come get drunk and listen to the sweet tunes of Noah Mono.
Yeah, free food and drinks. Well, I don't know if there's food, but free drinks. So by all means, swing by. In
terms of other announcements, 3rd of November here at PHOTOMAFIA. I'm not going to say who, but there's something coming. And then, and then keep an eye out for next year.
Sick. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Let's go.
Do some actual work.
Yeah, let's do some actual work. Let's do it.